It's tail time!
Sonic the Hedgehog used to be a video game legend that could rival even the greats from the Big N themselves. But in recent years, it's true that he has seen better days. Not sure by whose or what metric. I guess if you look at Boom and Forces, it's like, oh yeah, those sort of suck, I guess. I don't know. But then there's Mania. Even back in the day, titles like the OG Genesis ones were escorted into the limelight along with games such as Sonic Eraser, Spinballs, Eggman's Mean Egg Bean, and whatever the heck Wacky World's creative studio is. Actually, what is this? I see. I ain't no coward though. I ain't no bitch. As I think Sonic Eraser is actually really cute. Can't say that I hated Forces either. It had Vector in it, and Vector is very cool. So I'm a diagnosed to people who hate on quote-unquote bad Sonic games with a hefty case of Nintendo fan. I'm sorry, it's simply science. Perpetuating the idea that Sonic only exists through a framework as conceived by Nintendo. These people are too weak to even hold a Saturn controller. While you guys were out here struggling with the camera in Mario 64, we was out here playing Sonic R. Which definitely has the better music, let's be real. Though if I was really being real, I wasn't playing either of those games. I had a PS1 and Crash and Spyro and stuff, but you know, basically what I'm saying is that Sonic 06 is pretty darn cool. And look, okay, I have the Sonic cologne, I own a Knuckles chain, clearly I know what I'm talking about.
So on the packaging, right, in the in the top left corner, it says pre-packaged curry, as it would, because that's what it is. But there's like one of those like stringy confetti-like things behind the Y. And the R's, they're pretty cozily kerned together right there. So I was sitting there looking at it from a distance like this, and it's darker than it is on camera. Yeah, there we go. So I saw this, and I was like, Is that saying pre-packaged cum?
A common theory surrounding Sonic losing his luster is the collapse of cool. Well, they don't call it that because they ain't cool like me, but the idea goes is that Mario was made to be fun, but Sonic was made to be cool. And cool ages poorly. I, however, don't cop to this notion because to me it conflates cool with trending, hip, and in. But in my opinion, cool is often non-popular shit. Cool can be a small group of folks liking obscure stuff most other people don't. Cool can be that, but with things that'll blow the fuck up later. Cool can be defiant, alternative, cutting edge, and even deliberately calling back to the past. Punk was cool because it borrowed shit from rock from the 60s and glam of earlier on in the 70s. 2010's trap was cool because it wasn't scared to be emo and have anime influences, things that very much weren't cool in hip-hop prior. Cool is very fluid, for sure, but it's also very broad and far from whatever is necessarily front and center in the spotlight. And as such, I don't think there's ever been a single thing always so on the ball as what that is, intentionally or not, as Sonic the motherfucking Hedgehog. And I like Mario too, but there's a reason he also part-times as Granddad, because Mario just ain't cool. Because I mean, there's a embarrassingly emotional honesty to Sonic. The over-the-top anime bullshit, the smiling with a tear emoji tear music, the head-over-heels head-first deep diving into 80s hair metal butt rock antics, the fucking rap music, the bold race car blue, red, and white colors, Knuckles' Jamaican inspirations, and the dopest Dick's graphic design, regardless of if it being 90s DJ Sonic or 2000s anime Sonic or 10's Mimi Sonic. The entirety of his existence has always been made up of a fringe cool pop culture mishmash. He's been cutting edge, he's been the nostalgic throwback, he's been the voice for several generations of disenfranchised children who like shit that went against the grain of the mainstream that they would later come to decide. Sonic has been grimdark, he's done extreme sports, he was assaulting cops decades before that it would be the cool thing to do, and rightfully so. He's also had motherfucking Gangsta's Paradise in his movie trailer and has official iced out merch. Who the fuck else even? No one else, that's who. Sonic is cool. But how does this tie into '06? Well, it's very 2000s, which is going to and already is coming back as a vibe trend. It has buckets of sad emo energy too. It taps into the zeitgeist in a way similar as to how Kingdom Hearts did, but also has a colorful cast of cool critters that could easily make it something that the kids can fuck with, which they did. Certainly, its unfinished state makes it easy to dislike, but that also makes it the edgier, quirkier, cooler alternative to loudly like. To boldly exclaim skunk school playground tales about how cool it was when Shadow ponders to himself edgily. To secretly think to yourself about how much you secretly relate to Sonic being at least a little bit awkward around Elise like the anime boy band protag that he is. And to laugh at how much of a fucking dumbass Silver is.
To fix this present timeline, you need to change the past.
But that's impossible!
Every single line that this bitch utters is in total disbelief. It's fucking great.
No way!
Though Blaze is cool, and oh man, Mephiles, yeah, he's so evil and grimdark, just like my Japanese anime. That maybe your parents won't let you watch yet, but you can play Sonic, and that's important too. Not that my parents ever gave a shit, but there's hella kids who grew up in a more conservative environment that had Sonic, particularly the Adventures and/or '06, as their gateways into cool. I must say that this is also why there exists such a notable subset of Christian-based Sonic fan art. Plus, as big as shonen shows like DBZ and Naruto had gotten globally at that point, it was still only something for a particular brand of kid at the time, and wasn't always the easiest to come by either. So, for a game like this to tap into that so nakedly was not only very ahead of the curve, given that shit is as mainstream as Marvel at this point, but also very vital to those kids and their developing tastes. Sonic 06 and the Hog in general is, dare I say it, a very important stepping stone in the development of modern day cool. Yeah, sure, being cool will always make Sonic less broadly appealing than, indeed, Mario. But also, I don't know, man, broadly appealing can be pretty fucking lame sometimes too. But Sonic still has multiple fan bases surrounding many cools. It's what makes him unique, and it is what makes him cool. And that's also what makes even a game as blatantly unfinished as '06 still have its own dedicated following. It is what will, mark my fucking turds on this, give it its own reevaluation this decade. 2000s trends will come back and get reinvented, as is already happening. MySpace core, blingy core, the return of the colorful crunk, the tattoo, anime, edgy, AMV, Linkin Park type shits, and so on. And this game, as a cultural touchstone of that era, and one many children of that era will have played growing up, who will now be the adults and leaders of the next few waves of cool, will only grow to be more important. And because I'm cool, and you're cool, and so we cool, let's get up on ahead of this curb and have a great time with Sonic 06. Also, this is the original logo for the Sonic movie, as shown by the voice actor for Sonic, and I'm just saying, Sega knows where it's at. Infamous are the controls for the Hedgehog, being that he bolts off in whatever direction you tell him to go with little to no sensible acceleration or momentum like what he had prior. Add to that some very selectively accurate collision and often awkward geometry and camera movements, and you end up with a game that is defo not the most universally intuitive to controls, so I can 100% get being put off by that. However, I personally find this to be incredibly enjoyable. It's like taming the beast, constantly being forced to the edge of your seat, never having a full sense of control. Every jump, obstacle, rail grind, loop-de-loop or boosty pad, a potential death lying in wait. Keeps you on your toes, you know? Turns the entire title into a tightrope act. Even the most casual town exploration can turn into a no. There's so many little things that contribute to this. The fact that Tails rampantly speeds up and changes altitudes before slowing down when flying, thus totally crushing your ability to perceive exactly where you are in relation to the now likely to be invisible platforms below you. The way the game constantly throws little set-piecey bits at you, changing the orientation of the controls, the position of the camera, and or for the functions of the buttons on the fly. It's a common statement, but in many cases it is indeed better to just not push any buttons, as the combination of physics, cryptids, and collisions makes doing so a hefty blow to the house of cards that is Sonic 06's gameplay. And again, I fuck with this. Can't walk anywhere without going ho or at the FPS or as a slight sense of vertigo sets in the moment I dread to fall off anything. I mean, look at this. You have to tug at those reins to rope that hog on back in so that he doesn't blast himself off of whatever shit-fuck sausage platform these booster pads have yeeted him onto.
It's just a bit further.
This is basically horse riding, only your horse is angry and you're walking along a cliffside. Now, the combat, while jerky, I also tend to find rather fun. The manner in which the lock-on trivializes motherfuckers, smashing through them as the frame rate drops. The way in which they break to pieces and are also almost always put on top of boxes that'll shoot apart and bungle all over the place, in some cases even exploding, which will then send all the enemies flying too, is all pretty great. I also love how rings spew out like viscera when you get hit, all the while their little pellety baby bullets don't do proper damage to take off all of them, which is a good design call, I feel, seeing as shit would have been hecka frustrating if every stray bullet meant death. As it is now, you can freely storm ram into bitches while taking a fair few hits, also enjoying a hefty amount of invincibility when you do get hit with something proper like missiles. It's just so meat-headed, shredding through combat encounters at speeds too fast for the frame rate to fuck with, as if a blue Terminator monster too powerful for this mortal coil. I also adore Shadow's little bung vehicles too. They're great. No! They're great. No! They're great. No! Busting on down in the big boom bungle buggy, star foxing away with nay a hint of challenge in sight, and fearing the controls in the barely holding together hovercraft. There's nothing quite like constantly having your whole sense of control challenged like this. Ironically, Shadow himself is a lot nicer to control in my opinion. He's less fast and heavier, so he doesn't fucking shoot the fuck off a screen all the goddamn time like Sonic does. When playing as him, I wasn't constantly one step away from death. That's what the buggy is for. Anyway, I did really enjoy the slow exploratory levels as Rouge, flying over obstacles, climbing up on top of the highest geometry, bypassing whole chunks no problem, abusing your abilities, all set to some beautiful music and a legit nice looking jungle stage with many beautiful lush green hues. It legit really reminded me of playing Balan Wonderworld. In a good way. There's something fun about making levels your bitch whilst playfully exploring. In other levels, I'd normally never go out of my way to get one-up collectibles or rings out of fear of death, but here I had no qualms about schmoozing my way on over to some goodies. It's a cool contrast and leads me to my notion that I find this game to be genuinely excellently paced. For real, it's something I never got out of watching the game either, but it's a very fast game. It doesn't fuck around. Towny quiet time turns to big blast-off battles at the docks, turning into a funny cutscene where Schmuckles bumblefuckles his shit, which then leads into a fucking snowboarding section with all the prior mentioned ohs and oohs of the regular game, but funnier due to this totally not being even remotely functional. This then transitions into a more regular level with runny bits and fighty bits and little secrets to find. There's a Tails segment where you get to fly around, and then a more open area as Sonic where you have to puzzle platform past some laser gates. Like, that sounds like a very well-rounded, eventful ass adventure to me. No cap, I all caps had a good time with this aspect of the game. Nothing ever lingered on longer than it should have had for me. It's certainly jank and deaths can feel unfair as a result, but for the most part I was simply blasting my way through, and when I wasn't, it was primarily because I was looking around and exploring. Well, assuming I was playing as Sonic or Shadow at least. Silver's gameplay is well, it's the physics engine. The jank, barely working, frame rate crippling, game speed chugging physics engine, and it is a sight to behold. After playing his campaign for a few hours, real life started feeling weird. Like my perception was temporarily altered, my hold on reality shattered by Sonic 06. brought into his world. I don't know, not many games you can say that are able to do that, so that's gotta stand for something, though, yeah, this gameplay is half-baked to say the least. Held together by infinitely spawning boxes and level geometry, only kinda made for his speed and hovering. And Defo had its fair share of more aggravating moments due to it.
Sonic perfume or cologne. I don't know what the difference is. I think it's like a gender thing. Fucking, it's a fucking smell in a bottle. Who gives a fuck? But look, okay. First of all, the bottle, right? I don't know how well this like shows up on camera, motherfucker. There you go. It's as you can see a little bit over here. This is weird. It's all weird. The perspective. You can see that there's like bubbles underneath the sticker. It's just a sticker on a generic bottle. So right away, it is not, it's hard to believe, but it is not a premium product. The Sonic Cologne might be a little bit cheaply made. But, you know, that's not to say that it might not smell good, so let's find out. Are you excited? I'm excited. Let's find out what this bitch smells like. Ooh. It's fucking on me now. I've been tainted with the musk of the hedgehog. Oh my god. Oh, that is strong. That is... Maybe I just kind of blasted my wrist a little bit too much, but that is fucking potent. It's, oh, that is sweet. It's very lemony. Okay, look. If I could ascribe a color to this smell, which I very well could, it'd be this color. That's what it'd be. It's kind of like if Pikachu was sick, or SpongeBob with the suds. Oh no, now it's on my pants. SpongeBob with the suds. That's kind of what this smells like. It smells very very like toxic yellow. Definitely not no positive yellow. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't smell blue. If I had to, you know, make something smell blue like Sonic, I'd have picked like the ocean. I'd have picked something that'd smell like how this song sounds. That's kind of my aim, I guess. Like this whoa, like Sega sunny blue sky type energy. That's probably what I'd have gone with. I don't know what you would do to achieve that. I'm not a smellist, but yeah, I don't know. Lemons, citrus. It's not what I'd have gone with, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. It exists. It exists, and that to me is very valuable. Sega does what Nintendo don't. And this is like one of those things where it's like, Sega, why did you do this? I appreciate it. It's weird, but thank you. And if that doesn't sum up the Sonic brand, then maybe something else will.
So, time for a little backstory. I've seen this game played many times, but this time is actually my first time playing it during me time, and so there were quite a fair few bits I was excited to have hands-on interactions with. These being the legendary Lightspeed Dash, the Mach Speed segments, the Silver Balls moments, the It's No Use, Take This boss fight. So first up, the LSD. It's about as awkward as it looks, to be honest. I'm thinking that this is a placeholder animation and something that would have been fleshed out with better visual cues or sound effects as it was an adventure had they had the time. As it is, it almost seems as if a glitch. Sonic clipping up into the rings precariously, making his way across the water as Tails perishes with the camera awkwardly cutting. This is definitely its most legendary application, and it will come back later, and so will I. Anyway, the Mach Speed bits, there's something so fucking exhilarating about them. Everything that applies to the main game's controls applies so doubly here. It's like staring at out of control bottle rocket on ice skates while covered in grease. Like, check this final bit near the end here where I clearly skip off of the loop but still manage to have enough momentum to clip into the boost that's letting me zoom all the same. I also adore how when you nudge the railings or other obstacles you still keep on going, simply Nico from GTA 4 being blasted out of a car's front window physics-ing through the stage as you piss out rings from your ass. Sonic has such a wide swerve berth too, it kinesthetically feels as fast as it looks, with me audibly going oh as I zigzagged past the trees I could only barely see coming. Though, for the most part, even trying to avoid shit is no use. Yeah, so this is the silver boss fight where you can very easily stunlock the player through his gravity throwy attacks. That said, however, his audio cues say a lot, as when he goes, "How about this?" he readies his attack. When doing that, he want it's no use you so you can use his no use to use your attack to attack him. Run away until Q again, repeat. It's a surprisingly simple boss fight, but cause of how the camera is way slower than Sonic, making it hard to turn around properly to scope the bitch out, as well as how it clips on geometry and just, you know, the game in general. I can defo see how folks can get stuck in his grip, especially when you're, say, an internet funny man who's doing hella yelling, making one miss out on those audio cues, thus running into his no use. I had no issues with it though. I wore headphones so I could scope him out no biggie and just kinda circled the motherfucker and jumped his ass with every how about this. One could argue that his attacks were, in fact, no use. Definitely a legend of a boss fight though, a true God Gamer moment, eternalized in meme-famy and rightfully so. And finally, there's Silver's balls. What's the deal here is that you have to nudge this ball into this hole, only you can only nudge the ball 9 times. The physics engine is janky, the ball weighs a ton, and the geometry of the walls and floors is crevice heavy, clippy, and chippy, resulting in it being quite difficult to get the ball to where it needs to go and to aim it accurately. It's everything I could have hoped for, really. The sheer soul-hollowing feeling of watching the ball spin out of control into a cravee. The trek back to the ball spawn every time. The soothing music. The one cobweb someone put here with intent and deliberacy. I love this cobweb. It is a great cobweb. The warm, glowy lighting, the fact that they added a line below the 6 so you know it's not a 9, even though a 9 is not a number the ball will ever display past the start, and the way that it pushes you into the walls and shit, and how you can clip into it to still get a good angle on this bitch, and of course the boxes, what they place down. Probably after a few playtest sessions showing how shit was way too hard, it's a downright incredible moment of game. Granted, the whole thing only took me about 10 minutes, but then I did sort of luck out a little bit, I think. Still, as the hog says himself afterwards,
That took too long.
Anyway, I sort of feel like moments like these have been bigged up by funny men on the internet who yell at things for a living, cause, I don't know, like the silver boss fight, when you're not busy being a dickhead, it really ain't all that hard. Plus, how you perceive something watching someone struggle passively versus being the struggle-e is a very different form of engagement. I wasn't ever bored with this game, I can certainly say that. It is deeply engrossing, in a positive or negative way. But even shit like the jank ain't all that bad. When you aren't dicking around, the game won't fuck you over much at all, with a few exceptions that I will get into, but while not a stable game in any capacity, even a house of cards can still stay standing when you aren't yelling and blowing and sucking so much at it the whole goddamn time, you know? Perspectives and shit. Though, on the other hand, I am coming at 06 with years of hindsight and experiences, only viewing it and remembering it fondly as a result, and where that no doubt let me appreciate it much easier, there was certainly also plenty of frustrating times to be had as well.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah. It's a Sonic fucking curry. It's blue goop. You're supposed to make it with rice, but I did not want to dignify it with rice. So I'm just gonna eat it as it is. The one thing I know about it going in, which is something that I've heard about on the internet, is that it turns everything it touches blue. So this, oh yeah, look at that goop. So this plate, oh, that's kind of cool. The reflection of the purple lighting in my house. Wow, buy lighting. the plate, this spoon, everything will be blue. My insides will be blue. and everything that will come from that I will not review that aspect of it. I do have, you know, that's like where I have standards, okay? Look at me. I have standards. Yeah, let's just fucking get it. I'm curious. It actually does not smell bad. It smells like a pretty decent curry. So here I go. Oh yeah. Oh, it's so goopy. It's so goopy. There's a bit with a chunk in it. Look, I got a chunk. Let's fucking get this shit. Okay. Yeah, no. It's just curry. It's just curry. Let's take one more bite for the team. Oh god. Yeah, no, this is this is fucked up, man. Yeah, but it's not bad. It's quite nice. It's just also horrific and terrifying and a blight on humanity. But sometimes that's just how it is. You know, I'm not gonna act like I've never been a blight on humanity. Sometimes it's just how you gotta be. Sometimes you just wake up and it's like, yo, this is a blight on humanity type of day, and I can still smell the Sonic cologne. My mouth is blue now, but at least there's a little capybara plushie behind me there. Ain't that cute? Look at that little dude. That's fucking that's fucking adorable.
Man, that bit in the lava level as Sonic where they expect the player to wall run but it flat out just doesn't work. Ooh, goddamn. Like, the collision on the wall very easily stops Sonic's momentum dead in its tracks, causing him to slide on down with nothing you can do about it right into the lava below. Luckily, I guess you can make it back to the enemies you used to get here, but that's not always doable before die. What sucks about this too is that there's a long automated sequence prior, and I do mean automated. I retried this bit so many times that I've attempted offing myself during it, but to no avail. This is also where the game using continues becomes apparently annoying, which is also just a bizarre ass design choice in a game of its age. Because I did have one of those lives moments where I played through an entire stage. This one, the Birds, Castles, and Winds one, which I actually think is a really great level with hella cool moments and set pieces and fun physicsy things and sweeping rail grinds and cool music and epic rooftop running and bridge collapsings, but it has this one bit here where it wants you to lightspeed dash and it just doesn't connect. And so I died and had to do the full 20 minutes long level over again. Twice. Just fuck continues. At least in a game like this with this many loading times. These long ass loading times, which ain't that big a deal to me per se, but with quests it's like talk to someone, loading screen. Screen of them explaining the mission in one or two text boxes, loading screen. That's funny, but also very annoying, and by the time you get to the mandatory trials where 06 requires one to take out dozens of dudes with 0 rings, where not only starting the trial does this, but failing it does so too, loading you to the NPC saying shit, then loading back into the map where you have to talk to the fucker again to then load back into him saying shit again and then back into the mission. And with how jank the game is, physics and collision wise, fighting with no rings is the polar opposite of the powerfulness I mentioned earlier. It just sort of sucks. And on top of this, you lose a life every time you die too, so you best had better saved prior to starting this, or else you're about to lose even more progress.
Great!
Now, obviously, as stated prior, and as you already know, Sonic 06 is unfinished. I could be like, what does it mean to truly finish a work? But given the well-documented disaster that was its development, I think I can get away not going down the philosophy pipeline just this once. Either way, this is why the performance is grossly unoptimized, with 06 slowing down and speeding up, jerking the hog back and forth all about the place Sonic GBA style, and why scene and level transitions sometimes feel like they have bits missing, and why things like collision on that wall running part just didn't work. And I'ma be sympathetic towards the devs on that. I'm sure they would have at least liked to have attempted to iron these things out, but they simply did not have the time.
Agent Shadow, E123 Omega has engaged Metals. Head to the Wave Ocean, head to Wave Ocean.
Like, probably wouldn't have had that flubbed line read in there. On one hand, I do wish the game was less broken at times, because it certainly can be very aggravating, and there is a fan-made Unity remake that aims to iron out exactly that, and seems to be doing an excellent job. I will totally smoke this once finished. But, on the other hand, ain't nothing quite like slowly wall riding as tails at snail speed. You don't get that anywhere else. I do also love how, for whatever reason, probably lighting tweaking and placements, the nighttime map of Soeanna could not have been made playable, and so you get scenes that take place at night, but then one loading screen later, daytime, bitch, rise and shine. It does not ever get old. So, yeah, despite 06 for sure being a real asshole motherfucker of a game sometimes, Sonic is still my friend.
Sonic is a friend of mine. Sonic is my friend. Sonic is a friend of mine. My friend and Sonic. Sonic is a friend of mine. Sonic is my friend. Sonic is a friend of mine. Tails, please back the fuck up. Tails, please stay away. Sonic is my best friend, I will say it any day. And oh no, Tails is melting, but I think that's okay, cause Sonic is my best friend anyway. Sonic is a friend of mine. My friend and Sonic.
So, something else that I have is Dutch exclusive Sonic content, and it's called oh my god, the glare, Sonic Dance Power, and it's still sealed. I don't know how it's sealed. It's also official. It's not like a fan thing or a bootleg thing. It's actual, real Sonic Dance Power 4. Man, this curry is hitting right now. This curry is it's Sonic Dance Power. And the reason that it's noteworthy is not only because it's exclusive to my country, my heritage, my culture, but it also has an official Sega endorsement for Tokyo Ghetto Pussy. All right. Tokyo Ghetto Pussy. Sega fucking does what Nintendo is too much of a fucking bitch to do. The curry might be killing me right now. I just fucking Sonic, yeah!
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel, really. I mean, just the song that you're hearing right now is from a Sonic Golf mobile game, and look at it. Look at how Saturny it looks, how amazingly emotionally potent this music is, for no reason. It's amazing. I don't care how this game plays, it doesn't matter. I fucking love it already. And that applies to 06 for me, too. I don't give a shit about the parts I don't like, they don't affect me. I simply appreciate what I appreciate because I appreciate it. You know, I'm just out here vibing, chilling, phasing in and out of reality when I catch my boy Fred Durst and his brother Fred Durst over here, and so I'm like, hey man, and so he's like, Luppy. Oh, sorry, don't be scared. This is a new greeting I came up with. I've combined lucky and happy into one word. Luppy. Here, why don't you try it too? Come on, don't be shy. And then I'm going for a sunny walk as Silver, and I spot this kid having trouble negotiating the door, but then just as I frame rate sludge my way on over to help him out, Silver starts wigging out on the curb. How could I not love this? How could I not love the Sega sunny blue skies, the comfy hangoutable vibes, the dumb as fuck cutscenes, and the epic action-packed skunk sequences? Who cares that I can easily spot the crust on the not quite sharp enough looking skybox texture that instantly renders the sky into a boxed-in image, a simple rotating sphere? Not to mention these flowers and whatever blurring the floor is doing, and just the sheer sparseness of it all. I peep this big empty field with the overly repeated rock textures and the way the grass turns into mush and the unnatural Unity terrain builder-esque mountain formations clearly quickly whipped up with some type of brush tool. This shit looks like a fucking Turok level, but with none of the enemies, collectibles, trees, other geometry, and moreover, fog helping to hide the bareness of it all. It's just this naked fucking Magus Battlefield 1942 muzzle flash for the original Xbox ass Dreamcast Mech PS2 N64 PSP-induced landscape presented in a much higher resolution than anyone ever should have had. Uncanny fucking piece of shit, I goddamn love it. Run through the fields, be gay, do crimes.
If you see a mark above the head of someone in town, try talking to them. You may learn something important.
The warm golden glows in the desert, with sandy dusk particles on the platforms casting their dynamic shadows as the sun glares away into the camera, accompanied by the cool breeze that is the OST with its soothing sax, comfy zerna, and smooth fretless bass. Atmospherically, I really fuck with what 06 is putting down. Sonic levels have always had vibes for days. Bold colors, distinct atmospheres separating them, artistic abstractions, and little stories told through environments. Be it gradual robotification, toxic wastation, or whatever the fuck is going on in Chaotix. And that is all here, but in a very different sort of way. You see, much like Sonic Adventure, but more so, I get the sense that they wanted to create a realistic feeling world. Skunk NPCs that at least try to look like normal proportioned humans. Photorealistic textures, like, look at the fucking high quality vinage on these wooden floorboards here. Fucking aces. And more regular looking cities, all contrasting heavily with the lanky, latexy, weirdly mocapped, puppet-like animating freak show that is now the main cast. Essentially, the game feels so hard at doing anything realistic that it becomes the abstract automatically. For instance, let's just take a moment to appreciate this one house. I got this texture-ass door that could have just been that, but it has some depth to it with little steppy steps and extruding door frame. Then we got this similarly imaged window with little PNG ornamented bars in front of it. There's even a wee intercom next to the door for whoever lives here, as well as a maintenance box. They contain fuses, breaker switches, extra keys, who knows? And then there's this pipe, which I think might be a rain pipe, but then it goes into the building, so I don't know. But that's the thing. It's like there's this attention to detail, but also a severe lack of it. In a PS1 or 2 game, this fidelity house would have looked fine. Oh, most games of those eras did with way less, but shit being so sharp here brings out the scant artificiality of it. The low texture detail, the lighting and shading, or the absence of it rather. Like, I know this is a sunny town, but this shit looks almost unlit. Legit makes me wonder if you could remove the light source from this area, the houses would still be bright or not. Maybe that's why you never see it at night outside of cutscenes. Also, man, look at this man and his shiny hair. And then we got the hog himself, who is scathingly artificial. Zoomed in and blowed up with his weird googly ass pupils on his fucking phallic as fuck nose as you see all the jaggedy corners in his too large for comfort but too low poly to handle head as head. Fucking clown hands, motherfucker. His fingers is bigger than her goddamn head. The texture work on him has this velvety, latexy sheen and glow to it too. He looks sweaty and weird and smooth, like dolphin skin or some shit. It's so fucking gross. I love it. During this cutscene, you get an even better look at these freaks and just they got like creases and wrinkles, folds almost. Is that supposed to be hair? During Shadow's version, you also get to see Rouge way closer than anyone ever should, with her creepy mouth folds and Mephiles straight up has a seam running across his giant fuck off head. And here you not only see that Sonic's pupils are fucking detached, but also does a dramatic zoom with a stinger, only... What emotion am I supposed to read from this fucking monstrosity? And at the unfortunate intersection of this sits Eggman, the real man with the realest proportions, the stash, the drip, the long lanky limbs, his unrounded flabby physique, this vile pasty skin texture that they gave him, and the fact that you can, at times, peer behind his iconic shades and see these human eyes. These blue fucking just some white guy human eyes filled with nothing but a static PS360 emptiness. It is gross, it is funny, it is existential and raises so many questions that you'd otherwise be very unlikely to ask yourself regarding his other cartoonier incarnations. I do not wish to speculate what sick concoction of creative choices and mishaps led to this, but I dig it. I think it's cool, funny, interesting, and unique among Sonics. It's very much of its time. Sophistifuture adjacent, PS360 aesthetic to a T, the clashings of photorealistic texture work on models nowhere near detailed enough to do him justice, amped up by the Sonic cast being what they are. It is a world that tried its darndest to look real, but ended up looking less like actual real spaces than Knuckles Chaotix's 90s abstract color vomit worlds ever did. It is quite the achievement. Which then makes it even more baffling that the uncool, widely appealing, never-aging Mario seemingly took cues from this. Yeah, Mario Odyssey has that same uncanniness. Just fuck it, Asset Store Dinosaur. Fuck it, Dark Souls. Fuck it, Real Humans. Fuck it, very boldly stylized, more abstracted, colorful stages, a weird marriage plot, some soaring musical peaks, a fucking vocal theme. It all feels more Sonician than Mario's to me. Even sort of Naruto runs, kind of. And it has a town and a loop-de-loop at one point, which is just as awkward to control as it is for Sonic. It's defo all executed without Sonic's edge and with a more Nintendonian jaunt, for sure. I mean, just look at this adorable rat. Hashtag Mario Odyssey rat. But it's a fun flip up from what I talked about at the start of this video, as revealing Mario's nipples and putting him side by side with realistic human beings and letting him mind control those human beings and actually leaning into the simple princess saving romantic implications more raises a lot of similar questions as Freak Eggman of 06 does. This is Mario existing through a Sonic framework instead of vice versa. See how that feels, Nintendo fuckers? You're in his world now. Also, this game fucks. It's very cute, very fun, very good, and I love it many. Anyway, it would seem that Kingdom Hearts 4 is taking cues from 06 too. Eggman's eyes, Mario's nipples, and now Sora's eerily realistic, no longer oversized bare feet. I don't know why this is all being done to us, but I am here for it. KH4, not the feet necessarily. Though, yeah, I goddamn adore this game, warts and all. I didn't even talk about the story much, which is a pretty big driving force behind the game's entertainment value to me as well, being that in my eyes, the whole plot is essentially only possible due to everyone's lovable incompetence. Sonic's brashness, Eggman's selfishness, Elise's helplessness, Shadow's lonerness, Silver's dumbness, and Tails. No one's working together or towards the same thing, and it's rather fun to see that unfold as all these misguided motivations and plot lines violently crash course together towards a climax of dumb. But also, the directing is actually pretty good, if a bit jerky at times. I mean, peep this scene right here.
So this is where you are. I've been looking for you. What's wrong?
Well, Blaze? To kill someone to save the world. Is that really the right thing to do?
The music, the models, the dumpy acting, the loaded lines rich with "I'm 14 and this is deep" energy. It's like, it's corny, it's dumb, but I don't think it cares. Kojima energy, but less grand and skillful. More indulgent in its teenage angst brashness a la Kingdom Hearts, but with writing and acting nowhere near as complex. It has this baseline level, big blunt emotional resonance similar to Adventure 1 and 2, where I 100% get why so many folks who played this as kids or teens, just like I did with Adventure 1 and 2, vibe with it so bigly. It is clenched fist anime crying. It is soaring musical themes underlying things that maybe don't deserve them, but still get carried by it nonetheless. It is dumpy fight scenes, kids in the parking lot playing with plastic keyblades energy. It is potent, beautiful, powerful, stupid, and sweet, and I really fucking enjoy it.
I love Sonic.